What's up, team, and welcome to Mettle Memo number 42. Today's topics include 1. Lesson learned, how I stopped living in tomorrow, the Buoyancy protocol. 2. Tip of the week, holiday presents and hard training. 3. What I am eating, meals and macros. And 4. Training and workouts, how I'm training through this injury, how I'm preparing for London Marathon. If you'd rather watch or listen, you have the YouTube version and you have the podcast version, and the links are in the description. If you want my weekly training program, it's free until 2026. Every week I send out the Mettle weekly training plan to paid members. It's a full 7-day layout, strength, conditioning, endurance, and recovery. It's a PDF you can save or print, adjustments for busy weeks or injury comebacks like I'm dealing with, and one mindset focus to keep your head straight, as well as a community to rely on. $6 a month. It's very cheap. You get a full training program and the community. Let's dive into this. So 1, lesson learned, how I stopped living in tomorrow, the Buoyancy protocol. So I went diving in Belize with my wife for our anniversary, and I didn't realize how badly I really needed it until I got underwater. Because underwater, you cannot multitask. You can't just check something real quick on your emails. You can't live in tomorrow. You get one job, which is to breathe, stay calm, and stay balanced. And the wild part is that's the same job you have in real life too. We jumped off the boat on this overcast, rainy day, landed in 83-degree warm water, and the top of it was quite hazy because of the rain. But as we descended, I felt the quiet, familiar tension. I was sick the day before. I was nervous I wouldn't be able to clear and equalize because of sinuses. But we landed at the sand bottom about 35 feet and sat there for about 3 minutes while everybody equalized. Just waiting, just letting the body catch up. That alone was a lesson for me. No productivity, no pushing, no let's optimize this, just presence. Then the dive master asked if we were good to go. He signaled the okay and floated over the edge. We, quote, jumped off this cliff and looked down. It was a giant black hole dropping 400 to 500 feet into a dark black abyss. And right where we were headed, 3 sharks were just circling around. This is the moment where your nervous system gets a vote. And if you're like me, a high performer, a planner, a builder, your nervous system often votes for control. But underwater, control doesn't come from force. It comes from breath. We descended to 140 feet, the deepest I've ever gone, and held our buoyancy there, engulfed by a massive limestone wall and hanging stalactites, underwater icicles. Then we swam underwater through these caves the size of buildings, and the only thing I could hold on to was, we are so small. Not in a depressing way, but in a more clarifying way. And then I looked at my wife. I asked if she was okay, and she said, problem, and gave me the scuba sign for oxygen narcosis. If you don't know what that is, at depth with partial pressure changes, you get super dizzy, confused, blurry, and you could like hallucinate a bit. And in severe cases, you can actually have a seizure. This is not a moment where you say, let's power through. And it's not a moment where you panic and shoot to the surface either, because ascending too quickly brings in its own danger. So I had 2 options. A, panic and rush, or B, stay completely calm and regulate. I floated us up about 10 feet and waited there for 30 seconds, then descending back down with her. She still had it, so I made the decision. I'm going to be calm enough for the both of us. I signaled to her to look at me in the eyes, and I motioned calm down. I gave the okay sign, and I kept doing that. For 8 minutes at that depth, I stayed steady and kept her anchored. Little did she know there was actually 3 sharks right behind her. But fear doesn't help anyone down here. Presence does. We ascended slowly, did our decompression stop for about 5 minutes, and made it to the surface and onto the boat. She was okay. She was more than okay. And then the, quote, data junkie in me did what I always do, and I checked my heart rate on that dive. During the stressful part of the dive, I got up to about 120 beats per minute. But once I focused on my breath underwater, once I calmed myself down, to calm her down, it actually dropped to 56 beats per minute. That number isn't a flex by any means, but it was proof. Proof that calm is a skill and breath is the steering wheel. Because diving teaches you this in the most literal way. Inhale, you float up. Exhale, you sink. Buoyancy is balance. And life is the same. The quiet addiction to tomorrow. So back home, I'm diligent, always preparing, always building, always thinking about what's next. And I've carried a belief that sounds responsible but behaves like anxiety. If I stop, I'll fall behind. So for work, I fear not performing well, not growing, not consistently buying new deals. I fear my inbox becoming 500, 600, 1,000 emails like proof I'm losing control. And in training, I fear missing sessions, doing 2 or 3 days instead of 6 days in a week. I'm losing strength. I'm losing running fitness, not being able to bounce back to race pace in time. And then in relationships, I'm home, but sometimes I'm not fully home. I'm preparing for tomorrow, laying out clothes, planning nutrition, getting ready in my head. And it feels like restlessness, like I need to do more, like stillness is almost dangerous. That's the trap. You can call it discipline, but it can quietly become avoidance. The watch that broke, and I felt it. My watch didn't die during the dive. It worked for 2 more dives, but on the boat ride home, it started doing this like phantom touching, clicking all these different buttons, and then ultimately died. And I felt a wave of anxiety because I've spent so many years relying on that thing. My pacing, my sleep scores, my heart rate tracking, my readiness. It's not just a watch, it's a dashboard. And dashboards are comforting because they outsource trust. How did I sleep? I stopped asking myself that. I started checking a score instead. So when the watch broke, it forced me to be more honest and ask a more honest question. Can I trust my own awareness again? I told myself something that felt important. I need to learn to train by feel, not by metrics. I need to ask myself, how did I sleep? And be truthful instead of letting a device decide what's true. And yes, Garmin did replace it basically overnight the second I got back. Incredible customer service, but the lesson had already landed. The first run without the dashboard. I ran on cobblestone and dirt paths along the beach in Belize, and I looked at my wrist and saw only a tan line where the watch used to be. It sounds small, but it wasn't, because that tan line exposed a habit I didn't realize I really had, checking the metrics just to feel safe. I thought about tracking it on Strava anyway. I thought about my pace, my distance, my heart rate, but then I tried to do something I rarely do. I ran by feel. No numbers, no proof, no performance story. And at first, my mind started playing tricks on me. Should I be faster? Should I be running faster? What pace is this? Is this even productive? And then about 30 minutes in, I let it go. And it was relieving, actually, freeing. And the funny part is that's actually how my wife trains all the time. She just goes out by feel. She trusts her body. I've been outsourcing trust to metrics for years. And ultimately, the sobriety parallel that I forgot I knew. So that's one day at a time. It helped save my life. If I focus on the past, I'd get depressed. If I focus on the future, I'd realize how far behind I was and get anxious. So I stayed present today with the people around me, with the feeling in my stomach, with my heart, with my head, and my body. Belize reminded me of something uncomfortable but true. Sometimes I try to outrun the present, not with substances anymore, but with productive things, so it's masked. Fitness, plans, paces, emails, inbox zero, a cleaner form of escapism, but still escapism. And the antidote is the same as it's always been, which is presence, breath, and one day at a time. So the lesson is this. I'm not saying stop building. I'm not saying stop training. I'm saying don't disappear into it, because you can have a disciplined life and still be absent from it. And underwater taught me the most simplest operating rule I've heard of in a long time, which is buoyancy is balance. not floating uncontrollably, not sinking into panic. Micro adjustments, breath control, presence. That's the work. That's the training. And it's the same skill that helped me keep my wife calm at 140 feet with sharks nearby inside a black hole deep in the Gulf of Honduras off the coast of Belize. Calm isn't a vibe, it's reps. The buoyancy protocol, and this is a framework that you can actually use. So when you feel yourself living in tomorrow, your brain runs. Run this. 1, spot the drift. So ask yourself, am I planning or am I just escaping? Am I planning too much? Is that escapism? 2, anchor in your breath. Lengthen the exhale. Calm the system. Breath is the steering wheel. 3, remove one dashboard. Turn off one metric just for 24 hours. Not forever, just to relearn trust. 4, define enough for today. So write your next action, do it, and then stop. That's it. That's the rep. And 5, return to the people in front of you. Be where your feet are, not half there, fully there. So what I'm taking into my next season, I'm not abandoning structure. I'm refining my relationship with it. Because I only get about 4,000 weeks in this life. More on this on another newsletter. But I'm done donating them to an imaginary future where I finally feel caught up. I'm going to keep building. I'm just going to practice buoyancy while doing it. If you enjoy the free part of Mettle Memo, every week paid members receive the Mettle Weekly Training Plan, a complete 7-day layout, strength, conditioning, endurance, and recovery, and one mindset focus. The free memo is where I share these lessons. The paid memo is where we turn them into your actual week. Part 2, tip this week, holiday presence and hard training. High performers rarely miss their goals because the holidays are chaotic. They miss because they try to do everything at once. Train, work, socialize, recover, and end up doing none of it with full intention. This season is an opportunity. Days off are rare. A quieter calendar is rare. More daylight in your schedule is rare. So here's the week's operating rule. Train hard on purpose. Be present on purpose. No half grinding, no half living. Here's the framework that I'm using. 1, train early and then be free. Do the hard thing first so your mind stops negotiating all day. If training is later, it becomes a background stressor. You're with people, but you're thinking about the workout, or you skip it and feel guilty, or you squeeze in a sloppy and rushed workout. Training early turns the rest of the day into a clean presence. So what this looks like, lift or run before the first holiday commitment. If mornings aren't possible, train immediately after the first event before you sit down and disappear. And put it in your calendar. Don't miss it like a flight that you're going on. Number 2, 1 hard session per free day off of work. Days off are built for quality, not chaos, not 2-a-days out of guilt, not I have time so I should punish myself. 1 hard session per day off means that you use the time to train with full intention and then recover the rest of the day and enjoy the day. Some examples would be 1 quality lift in the morning. No rushing, just clean reps and good rest. 1 interval or threshold run, or 1 longer steady state session. If you have multiple days off, alternating hard, easy, so you don't really dig into a hole. 3, the presence blocks. Phone down, full attention. Your family doesn't need more time, they need more you. Presence isn't a feeling you stumble into. It's a boundary you set ahead of time. So pick 2 windows per day where you're fully off your phone and fully with the people you love. Examples, meals in 1 evening block. A long walk with no phone. Leave your phone in another room for 1 conversation. And when that itch to check something shows up, don't obey it. Write it down, handle it later, stay here. Number 4, use an exit ramp. Don't try to win the holiday. Holidays trigger old patterns, proving, people-pleasing, perfectionism, control. You feel the tension rise and your brain starts writing stories. I'm falling behind. My cousin is much further ahead than me. I'm wasting time and I need to do more. That's the moment to take the exit ramp. What this looks like: 3 long exhales, shoulders down, jaw unclenched. If you miss a session, no hero makeup workout, just get back on the plan tomorrow. And if the food is chaotic, just hit your protein and water and just move on. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to stay centered. If you can train hard and be present, you win twice. You come out of the holidays feeling stronger, and you actually remember the holidays. A practical tip for this week. So tonight, take 5 minutes and do this on paper or in your notes app or whatever on your phone, but write this down. So 1, write your next 7 days with one clear job for each day. Is it a hard session? Is it an easy session? Is it a rest day? Or is it just a pure family day? Number 2, circle your presence blocks. So like meals and one evening window that you're going to spend with your family or friends. So they're as a non-negotiable as training. So right now you have training, now you have presence. And 3, set one rule for when life hits, curveballs. Example, if I miss a session, I don't move it. I just get back on the plan tomorrow. Don't try to double down on it. That's what it looks like to use the holidays as a training camp and a real life. So happy holidays. Part 3, what I am eating. Below are some pictures and macros of food I enjoyed cooking or mainly eating from this week. So the first one, a couple of them are on holiday in Belize. So I have a yogurt bowl, granola, berries, banana, kiwi, and honey. This was like a go-to breakfast I had there. Approximate macros, again, I didn't weigh it out. That's not my materials, so I don't necessarily know, but I took a guess here. 409, protein 23 grams, fat 17, and net carbs 34. Now, this was my appetizer every single night for 7 days, which was just grouper and snapper ceviche with tortilla chips. Approximate calories 383, protein 38. We had a lot of fish, fat 11, and net carbs 33 grams. Then we got home late and we wanted a light, easy dinner. So we had organic grass-fed ground beef from Primal Pastures, which is not sponsoring anything. It's just a phenomenal place that I got a Christmas gift for, a box of meat. Incredible. So it was ground beef, salad with sunflower seeds, and balsamic and olive oil. 357 calories, protein 36 grams, fat 23, and net carbs 2 grams. And lastly, part 4, how I am training. So London Marathon training has officially started. The weekly breakdown looks like this. Monday, full rest day. Sauna and cold plunge only. If I do that, otherwise just rest. Absolutely nothing. Tuesday, run 6 miles. 3 easy, 3 at a fast pace. It's ultimately a fast finish run. And then following that, we're going to do strength, a leg day focus, about light legs, not a heavy day, light legs, and run specific strength training at the end. Wednesday, we have a cycle for 1 hour in the morning. That's going to be high intensity intervals, so targeting that VO2 max, the upper end of the spectrum. Following that, we're going to do strength and upper body only. Thursday, we're going to run hill sprints. So up and down, about 90 seconds, 8 to 10 times. And then following that, we're going to do strength lower body. And this is a little bit more like moderate heavy, but it has more of an emphasis on my posterior chain. So my glutes, hamstrings, and calves. And then Friday, just upper body strength. So a full day off of cardio. Saturday, we have 5-mile run. And then Sunday, we begin our long runs with 10 miles this week. So total running miles, about 20 to 22. Total cycling time, about 1 hour. Total strength time, about 4 hours. You could also check out the Summer Shred program, the upper-lower cardio split, kind of similar to what I'm following, just a little bit more cardio here. Or you could do the Mettle weekly training program. That's the $6 a month. You just sign up. You're a paid member on Substack, and You join the community. I check in once a week. You get to chat with me, ask me any questions you need, and you have a community to rely on. And that is it for Mettle Memo number 42. And that is it for 2025. Bring in the new year, get your mind right, get focused, and let's kick some ass. Love you all. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Adios.